Here now to respond, Congressman Doug Collins, ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, are you satisfied with this arrangement?
No, this is a joke. I mean, let's just be honest with this. This is covering your backside. This is Speaker Pelosi, who saw 50 senators say that the process in the House was bad, that they didn't want to even deal with it. She went back and she said, oh, my goodness, let me go now and say, look, we believe the Republicans are wrong, but we're going to do what they say. Look, she knows exactly what she's doing. She knows she's wrong. She put it with her cohort Schiff down in the dungeon, said, go do all this stuff. Maybe nobody will notice. Well, wow, the American people noticed, and people on Capitol Hill noticed. So now they're just trying to cover their backside with proposals, which is really interesting. They're going to give the president some ability to weigh in the Judiciary Committee, but not the Intel Committee. This is not about due process for this president. And also, let me just say something. I've heard all this today. This is not about Russia. This is not about a Ukrainian phone call. This is about the fact that Hillary Clinton was crying in Brooklyn in 2016 November. This is all this is about. They hate the president because he's done well, and he's done what he said he was going to do. Let's get this out in the open. That's all it is.
Isn't Schiff's had a conflict of interest from day one? He had initial contact with that whistleblower that was not revealed. In any other proceeding, legal proceeding, he would have had to have recused himself after failing to disclose that until pressed on that.
Think about what he tried to stop, what he did stop today about the gentleman not answering the question. He was asking, who else did he talk to? He stopped that question. What would that have led to? Who did he talk to? Was it his staff? Was Schiff involved in that? Did Schiff actually stop a question from being answered on who he actually gave that information to? Which, in addition to what Congressman Jordan was talking about leaking classified information, who would it might have led to? To have Adam Schiff run this kind of a Star Chamber inquiry with no oversight, with nothing going on, only leaking what they want. This morning, when you talked about the fact that his bombshell, that was an opening statement. It was an uncross-examined opening statement. The best we get on earth is a resume. That's our perfect, is our resume. The best you get on Capitol Hill is an opening statement.
What about the fact, and a lot of people were talking about this today, that we have foreign policy professionals, some who are active duty military, serve their country proudly, like Vindman, but nevertheless, they might have different worldviews than the president on Ukraine or various issues. But in the New York Times piece yesterday, it stated that he had had conversations with Ukrainian officials who were trying to solicit his advice on how to work around Giuliani, and typically those conversations were in English. Now, what about that? I mean, there are statutes, 18 U.S.C. 794, that reference gathering or delivering defense information to foreign government. Could be implicated here, might not be implicated here, but that's kind of a wild thing, right? I mean, you're supposed to be working with the commander-in-chief. That's a problem.
Well, what was problematic for me was let's go back to his opening statement where he talks about, where he's laying out his best case, but he gets into the fact that what his concern about the call was, he had some concerns about the information in the call, but he said, but this could hurt us politically down the line. Since when is that becoming the process of this?
An active duty service member is supposed to be politically concerned, yes or no?
I'm a member of the military right now.
I know you are.
This is not, no, this was that, when I heard the political concern, that job is a policy. You're to give policy help. You're just to be the expert in the room, so to speak. But when he said it was politically concerned, this is what's happening. They're giving leaks. Adam Schiff is giving leaks. And what was amazing to me was he said he didn't want to release the transcripts because he didn't want to have it open to the public so the witnesses couldn't coordinate. We're already seeing the specific leaks by members of his committee.
The language being repeated.
And now they're being repeated. So let's get over this right now.
You agree with me on the Senate? They got to this thing has to be shut down. This is ridiculous.
I think that's what they're looking at right now. And every day that Nancy Pelosi does this, Speaker Pelosi keeps this up. This resolution she has, these declarations, she's just being,
everything's too little too late. It doesn't matter at this point.
It's already out the door. How do you
we don't need any White House staffers' take on the call. Oh, there was a word that we wanted put in. We have a transcript. We don't need your opinion. Thank you very much. But you're apparently testifying against the administration for whom you're supposed to be working. Right. But we don't need your opinion. We have the transcript. That's what is governing here, correct?
Exactly.
There's nothing in the transcript that's impeachable.
There's not. And so that's why you're always hearing this. And be careful of this. Notice what you hear Schiff talk about. He's moved away from quid pro quo to obstruction in this president not being cooperative with Congress. Look what you're going to come in the next few weeks. That's where you're going to go.
Congressman, thank you for being here tonight.